Welcome, my night outers. DJ Seikoetti here, and welcome to another fun-filled episode of My Night Out Radio. In studio tonight, we have, well, you're getting to be quite a fixture, actually, George Goner, my co-host at this point, at least temporary.
I'll tell you,
semi-full-time.
The chair is comfortable.
It is.
The room is heated.
Yes, I am enjoying the heat. It's like borderline on tropical in here at times.
And he has the same name as your last co-host, so you don't have to remember a new name.
I wasn't going to go there, but yeah, actually, I believe he's listening tonight. George Nasser, if you're out there, we held the seat open as long as possible, but I was running out of crap to talk about, so we had to bring someone else in to help, lug it along with me.
Which we could use George's expertise, because following him on social media, it looks like he just laid it down when it came to the Rhode Island Food Fights Wing Challenge. I feel like I know more about the wings from George Nasser than I know about from the actual challenge.
Well, George has never been one to be George Nasser, that is. He is more than willing to take pictures of everything that's on the table. You cannot eat your meal till he takes a picture of it, which is good for the food the wing challenge, the sandwich challenge, and he'll definitely give painful amounts of detail to what everyone else has had at that table.
And it's kind of like Yelp and things of that nature, where it plays a dual role. Most of the stuff looks delicious, but every once in a while you see something on there that just looks like Dookie, and you know to stay away from that restaurant. I made the mistake, and it was delicious. We went out to Carriage House Inn in North Kingstown.
Yep.
I made a mistake of taking a picture of my beef stew. Now, the beef stew was delicious. The picture, on the other hand,
right,
not so
gross.
much.
It can be deceptive.
Well, speaking of food, by the way, as we came in, the song that we had was "Set Me Free" by 95 Hyde, formerly the Jessica Prouty Band. There have been changes in personnel, and they're getting along quite well. I've been following Jess for at least 2 or 3 years at this point. So definitely, if you had a chance to check them out, that's 95 Hyde. They play a lot up in Boston, Massachusetts area. Going out to eat is, a passion at this point. It's something you have to do, because I don't feel like cooking. So there's a few things I wanted to bring out. First off, I was in Connecticut yesterday. Why? Because I was bored, and there wasn't snow on the ground when I was driving on the highway. So we ended up in New London, Connecticut.
Wow.
The name of the place that I hit was the Northern Indian Restaurant. Now, anytime they ask you at what level you would like the heat of your food, always makes me happy, because I always pick quite a high number. It was
1 to 10? Or?
Well, 1 to 6. So I went with the 6, and I said, hey, if you could do a 6+, that would be bonus. So I had a sag, which is a spinach-based sauce with lamb in it.
Okay.
It was lamb sag. Excellent. Heat. If you're not familiar with the sushi or the wasabi burn on the top of your head, just expand that all the way down to your ears. I thought the top of my head was going to explode. That's how hot it was. But it had a lot of flavor. It wasn't just heat.
Right.
Throw in some keema naan, which is the naan bread with lamb mixed in between the layers, because you can never have enough lamb.
I've had that. That's really good stuff.
It is. And then we had the house platter for the appetizers with samosas, chicken wings, shrimp pakora. Again, not too spicy, but just spicy enough with the tamarind sauce, the mint sauce, and then they had a tomato and onion pickle relish. It was really good. The two of us ate. Now, my wife had chicken tandoori or some type of I don't know. It wasn't spicy enough for me, but it was really good. The flavors were right there. And I think by the time we were done, drinks and everything, we only spent about $46, $47 before tip.
For a self-indulgence like that, that's not bad.
No, it was excellent. It was enough food to fill you up. I mean, I didn't even need the appetizer and the naan. I could have gone one or the other.
Right.
And I had more than enough food, because when I got in the car, by the time I was done, the only thing I needed after that was a nap. Other than that, I also hit the Gentleman Farmer right over here and right down the road in Coventry. They've always been yeah, and there are a few gentleman farmers around, but I'm talking about the one in Coventry now.
Specifically, yeah.
They've always had a very good breakfast. You know, the potatoes, the hash browns, whatever you want to call them, they were very good. Now, I got the Philly cheesesteak omelet, and it was packed, absolutely packed with steak, mushrooms, onions, cheese. It was a really good omelet, and it's one of those weird places where the coffee and the breakfast is good. So the coffee was...
Usually it's one or the other, right?
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, I being a morning person, and I hate to brand myself as that, but I am. I am becoming a morning person after 10 years on, getting to work for 6:30 in the morning. You know, you go out for breakfast, either the food's really good and the coffee, not so much, or the coffee's really good, the food's suspect. And I've said this, I think for at least the last 4 episodes, they hit it right on both of them. Definitely one place you want to check out. The only other major food news in the area that I got to say is Doherty's Lakeside is now open. They opened up a couple weeks ago. Over 100 taps, 100 different beers on tap, plus bottles and cans and what have you. I just randomly pointed at the menu. I'll have one of those. Oh, that's 12% alcohol. Okay, I'll have a small glass. But yeah, I did. I put a hurting on a couple of those kegs. Along with, you got to have food to soak up the alcohol.
Of course.
So they had a tuna tartare nacho. Okay, sashimi grade tuna, avocado on wonton chips with a wasabi aioli and a sesame soy sauce. It was absolutely amazing. Definitely something you got to try. I'm not sure about the other Doherty's because Doherty's is actually part of the Tapped restaurant group. So that's Sullivan's. That's a couple of different Doherty's. The Doherty's Lakeside. The one in Warwick, you have the East Side Ale House. So if you get a chance, check them out. Each restaurant has their own menu. All the cooks. Ray Regola from All for Blood was one of the cooks. He was over at Sullivan's Public House up in Pawtucket, which is also part of this group. He's moved on to bigger and better things at this point, but the food is still awesome.
And for all of our unemployed friends out there, as a new restaurant, Doherty's Lakeside is also now hiring.
Well, actually, the staff they have is they're spot on. You want for something, you barely flick your wrist up. They are there. They are very attentive. Not to mention the whole bar is a nice big U-shaped bar, and the front of it or the end of it, whichever you want to go, the U part,
right,
is shaped like a boat's hull because you're right on the lake. So they try to tie it all in. And the interior of the old Nino's, which is now Doherty's, they've renovated the whole building. It is beautiful. It was worth the wait, put it that way, because it took them almost a year and a half from inception to open doors. So definitely worth the wait. I will definitely have to do a lot more product research. Yeah, I'm going to be hitting those kegs hard, I think, in the next couple of weeks. But, yeah, so what about you? Have you been out to eat? We're struggling with no?
No, I'll tell you, the first thing I want to say is that to any future co-hosts of this show is not one to co-host on an empty stomach.
No.
I said to myself, okay, I'm hungry. But then I went to a couple of places. They were crowded. There was a line. There was a wait. I hate waiting. Mm-hmm. I said, I'll go and do the shows. Then I'll eat. Big mistake.
Yeah. Tony makes that mistake pretty much every week. But Tony has dinner waiting for him when he gets home.
There is actually in the crock pot right now, and some of our friends who are listening outside of the region will not know what I'm talking about. There's a gravy in the crock pot right now for tonight.
That'll be another whole. In fact, why don't we take some music and we'll get back to that whole gravy.
The gravy concept, because that screwed me up as a kid. That confused me.
Well, because you're not Italian.
I'm half Italian.
You're half Italian,
right? And it's right, and my mother wasn't. So,
yeah,
I was torn between my French mother and my Italian grandmother. on my father's side.
Now, I'm not one to look a gift horse in the mouth. There's a gravy simmering at home. Unfortunately, I had asked for chicken wings for supper tonight.
Maybe they're in the gravy.
Hey, maybe there's a phone book in someone's near future. Let's digress on that conversation, at least for a few seconds. Why don't we head out here, take a break. We're going to listen to Thayer Cabin. The name of the song is Don't Be Afraid. We'll be back in a minute. You're listening to My Night Out Radio on Rhode Island Free Radio.
And you said you were mine forever.